Hi, Marianne Croce here from Small Biz Vantage and the creator of 3-Day Weekend System and Coaching. And I am so glad to be here each and every week to do these lives for you, business leadership in 15 minutes. I do them for a couple of reasons. The first one is for you to be able to look at your business, shift your perspective, look at it differently than you do now. Actually, turn that into your competitive advantage. The second reason I do this is for you to take one action item away each and every week. It doesn't take these massive changes to make an impact in your business. Sometimes just a small shift can cause a ripple effect, and that's what really makes an impact. So questions that I get asked most often are, Marianne, who do you work with? And I work with single location automotive shop owners. And in fact, many of them are family businesses. And I help them with them feeling really consumed by their business. And they really want to be able to have a life. And it's hard to see that right now. They've reached milestones, they've had successes, but really what they want to do is they want their business to stop consuming them. And that's where I come in and help. They don't have to feel like they're going all the time. The next question that I get asked often is, what is 3-Day Weekend System? And really what it is, very simply, is it's a framework to help owners get out of what I call owner overload. So this week, the topic that I am going to be, the live is going to be on is overthink to overdrive. If you find this valuable, please share it with another business owner that you know. We can all really learn and help one another raise the bar in the industry. So there are so many decisions made each day by an owner or leader. You know that, right? And it really is much more than your customers, your team, they see or even realize. I've spoken with many business owners who have experienced analysis paralysis, which happens when an owner, think about it, when it becomes so overloading, right? Your mind is just overloaded by the information, the many choices, and you really struggle to make a decision and to take action because there's a lot of different options, a lot of different ways that you can go. And it often happens when owners, leaders, or businesses are faced with complex decisions, numerous options, or a ton of information being thrown at you. I see this all the time. And I can relate. I really can relate to this. When my husband and I opened up our shop, a transmission shop in 1999, not only did we have to learn how to run a shop and all of the things that went with that, we had to learn how to work together while raising 3 kids. And it was difficult. The nuances of having a team, all of that. We were overloaded with options and decisions each and every day. So I know exactly what this feels like. So overthinking, what happens? What causes us to be in that state where we're overthinking? Overthinking sometimes will say you just feel like you're having a day that you're overthinking everything. Well, this happens when you have too much information. Many owners aren't skilled in all the different areas of business, sales, marketing, the operations, the people, and the financials, right? So you struggle to process all of that. Once you want to purchase a business or build a business and then you're in it, a lot of times you realize how much more work there is involved, that you didn't realize prior to being an owner. Very, very common. The next is fear of making mistakes. The fear in making the wrong decision and the risks that can lead to overthinking, right? And being indecisive, not knowing which way to go because we're thinking so much about these risks. There's a lack of clarity a lot of time. If business goals and priorities or values are really unclear, then making decisions become really challenging because you're not sure of your direction. A lot of times what I see is a lot of inadequate information or really just inexperienced information. So they're getting really insufficient, not enough information, or even unreliable resources. That can really cause owners to question or hesitate. Sometimes people are just listening to other people in a group and they really don't have the experience or the expertise. They're getting the information from poor sources or bad sources. Then there's also the perceived consequences. Owners may anticipate risks of the decision, even when the impact is less than they could have even imagined, right? It's so much less. They blew it up in their head. It's like there's a problem with a vehicle and the customer seems like they're a challenging customer and you dread making that phone call, whether it's you as the owner or even your service advisor, dread making that phone call because in your mind, this is just going to be a huge problem. And when you do make the phone call, it turns out that it wasn't that big of a deal. And the way you presented it and talked to the customer, it was fine. So that's an example of what that looks like, a perceived consequence. Procrastination habits. Some owners may have a tendency to procrastinate, put things off because they're unsure, because they're unclear for a lot of the reasons that I listed. And this really could increase this analysis paralysis where you're not taking action, you're not making any decisions. And lastly, there's a lack of a decision making framework. Owners may struggle to navigate through these different choices effectively because they don't have any kind of a framework. They don't have anything in place. So, I want to talk about addressing overthinking in 5 steps. So, let's just bring this down. We know what it is, we could relate to it, we know when it happens to us, but how do you address it? So, there are 5 steps. When owners delay important decisions, you miss opportunities or you become stuck in a cycle of overthinking. And that really becomes like a habit. That's just the way you approach things. To overcome this analysis paralysis, it's important to streamline decision making, streamline that process, prioritize all of the key information that's needed, set clear objectives. And then this allows owners to make more informed and timely choices to grow their business. When you take too long to make a decision, you really can miss out on opportunities. So you want to be able to make decisions quickly, but you want to maybe be able to make really good decisions. So these are the things that are important to realize, those 5 steps. Define the goals and identify any challenges. So, what do you want to achieve and pinpoint any main challenges? So, you want to achieve great customer service, quality work, but you have to pinpoint some challenges that are coming up. Maybe for a lot of people right now, it's delays in parts. Maybe you're shorthanded at the front counter. So you're having a hard time getting back to customers. Those might be some of your challenges. Get information and ideas. So collect information and brainstorm solutions. So you're going to sit down, you're going to say to yourself, okay, what's going on? Talk to others. Do you need more suppliers to have their names for that issue? What is the solution? Do you need to talk to the suppliers and get more realistic times? Is it for the customer service issue at the front counter? Is it training someone else that's on your team to be able to answer the phone when you have more than one line ringing? There are different ways that you can do this, but you brainstorm together. Evaluate the options and seek input. Weigh the pros and cons of each of these and throw them out there to the team. Think about it. Try them with some of your customers and see what the feedback is. Then make an informed decision. Choose the best solution based on the information and the feedback. And then create an action plan and monitor the progress. So you want to develop the plan. This is what we're going to do. This is going to be our new process. Let's try it out. And then we're going to monitor the results, and then we're going to adjust as needed. So I want to just quickly go over those 5 steps, the overthinking, the 5 steps. Define your goals and identify the challenges. Get the information and ideas. Evaluate the different options that you have and seek input from others. The next one is make informed decisions. Take that information and make a decision. Then once you do that, create your action plan and try it. That's it. Actually do it and monitor the progress. Nothing is written in stone. You can always tweak it. You can always improve on it. You can change it up a little bit. As you're doing it, you will get new ideas on how to make it better. So what this leads to is switching from overthinking, switch to overdrive. So when you minimize the assumptions, that is really the foundation of effective decision making and problem solving. You don't want to make a lot of assumptions. Well, I'm assuming that my customers might not like this, or I'm assuming that this is going to be hard for me to get a part, or something that you have to order. Don't assume. The less assumptions that there are, the more facts that you have, the most reliable information that you have is the best. So relying on assumptions can really cause unnecessary risks and errors into your decision-making process. Here's why reducing all those assumptions, cutting them down, is so important. Accuracy. Assumptions can lead to inaccurate conclusions. So we want to work from concrete data, concrete facts. There's no guessing. This a lot of times this shows up as a really good example when owners or their team have a hard time with people that call up and ask for prices on the phone. One of the things that people will say is, well, we don't give prices over the phone. And a customer may come back with, well, I see here you've been in business for, 15 years. I mean, don't you know this by now? Or I see in your ad that you have 25 years experience. Shouldn't you know this? Well, go with that and say to the customer, absolutely, I do know. And I know that guessing is not a professional way. We need to check your vehicle out. We need to do some testing on it to give you the facts so that you can make the best decision. So you can take that negative approach, that objection that the customer has, and you can spin it because you're not making any assumptions on the phone, and then have the customer come in and now it's a whole different situation. It's not the customer's responsibility to know what's wrong with their vehicle. That should be on you, on your shop. Mitigating risks. That's the next one. When you switch into overdrive, assumptions could be really risky. So make decisions based on a solid foundation, reduces challenges or failures. It can reduce the chances of a really bad customer experience. It could reduce the chance of you working with a customer that's not a really good fit for you, or taking work into your shop that is not the kind of work that you do. You're just taking work. Leave room for the work that you do best. Number 3 is building confidence. When decisions are based on facts, owners and leaders have greater confidence in their choices. You will make better decisions and you'll be more confident in them. Number 4 is better planning. Accurate information allows for better planning and resource allocation, right? Reducing costly mistakes. So, say one of your resources is tools, say it's diagnostic equipment, or it's your team, your top tech, the person who is great at diag. When you plan your jobs out, what you're doing is now you're reducing the cost of mistakes. You're minimizing costly mistakes because you have the right people on the right job. And lastly, effective communication. Minimizing assumptions improves communication. Everyone's on the same page. Everyone has clear information. They know what is expected of them and they know how the day is supposed to go. So that's how you switch into overdrive from overthinking. Now, I want to leave you with a pro thinking tip. The path of least assumptions is best, right? Don't assume. We've all heard it. What happens when we assume, right? You make an ass out of you and me. We've heard it. Don't stay stuck in overthinking and allow analysis paralysis to get the best of you. Seek guidance to hone your owner and leadership skills. Reach out to a coach, a mentor, or another business owner who understands and has the experience. So, 3 things: structured decision making, have a decision making framework. The goal setting goals that work for your stage of business and life. Don't set a goal that's totally unrealistic for your stage of business and life. And accountability. Celebrate wins big and small. This is huge. Focus on taking action instead of excessive analysis. I have to look, I have to research, really take action. Try something out, see if it works. So that's it for this week's Business Leadership in 15 minutes. I'm so glad that you're here. I'm so glad that you're here, and I look forward to next week. Have an enjoyable week.